When people talk about microbrands, they usually talk about value or specs or how much watch you got for your money, but that's not what changed collecting. This isn't a video about the best microbrand. This one is about the most important ones, those that shifted expectations and really allowed watch collecting to be what it is today. Hey, there you are, and welcome to My Dude Watch. My name is Jason, and today we have something special for you. This is part 2 of our series about the most important watches. And this one focuses on microbrands and independence, and just like the last video, this one doesn't focus on popularity. This focuses on impact. So buckle up. This is going to be fun. You know the deal. Grab a snack, pull up a chair, and let's talk watches. And one thing before we start, this isn't a ranking of quality and it's not a timeline of releases. It's a mindset chronology. This is the order that watches changed how collectors thought about microbrands. And we are ready to get started, and our first watch kind of focuses on a permission slip of sorts. This is the one that changed what microbrands believed they were allowed to be. The Brew Metric isn't here because of specs. It's here because it changed direction and without a turn signal. At a time when most microbrands were divers, field watches, or vintage-inspired homages, Brew showed up with something completely different. This is a representation of what it means to put design first, shape forward, and made sure you know it's identity-driven. This wasn't about competing with anyone. It's about having a point of view, and that really mattered. Because after Metric, microbrands suddenly felt empowered, and they stopped asking, how do we compete on value, and started asking, what do we want to say? And that's a fundamental shift. One thing has remained true since the dawn of watchmaking. You have to be trusted before you can grow, especially for microbrands. And Halios was that brand that proved trust could exist without history or a back catalog. The Seaforth wasn't loud, it wasn't flashy, it didn't rely on hype or paid advertising. It was designed and created to simply deliver the goods, and it did. Over time, something interesting happened, though, and Halios was not prepared for it. People stopped asking questions. They no longer needed convincing, they didn't need reviews. They just bought and bought and bought. And that's rare. Halios didn't change how watches looked. It changed how confident collectors felt buying from a small brand. We have made it to our third most important watch of the day, and this is where the spec race really started to heat up. Well, one brand said they were not going to take part in that, and this is where a lot changed. Oh, it changed all right. It started to feel exhausting, and more loom, more depth rating, literally more everything. Did you hear that knock? Answer the door, because Baltic showed up and they decided not to play that spec game. They did just the opposite. The Aquascaphe didn't try to impress you in the same way. It focused on proportion, restraint, balance, and it reminded collectors that taste matters, that a watch doesn't always need to do more. It just has to do the things it does right. After Baltic, the restraint was no longer boring, far from it. It was inspirational. Let's take a quick pause for just a moment. If you enjoy this way of thinking about watches, not hype, not spec chasing, but why things actually matter, that's exactly what we're building over at mydudewatch.com. Buyer's guides, micro lessons, and tools to help you collect with more intention, not more noise. And this video is trying to help you see watches just a little bit different. You're right in the middle of this 3-part series. If you enjoy what you're seeing, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help. All right, back to it, and up next is when execution suddenly is the benchmark. Let's be clear, Monta didn't disrupt design, it disrupted expectations. All of a sudden, spec sheets stopped being enough, something was changing. Bracelet quality mattered, finishing mattered, tolerances mattered. The Oceanking forced collectors to recalibrate what felt good. And it forced other microbrands to either step up or get in line behind them. Because once execution becomes the standard, excuses disappear, and that was the case. The watch buying world took notice. Monta didn't change how microbrands looked. They changed how the expectations and quality had to be finished. Monta made sure everyone knew there is no substitute for meeting those expectations. So what happens when you see growth? You got to know it's got to go somewhere. And Christopher Ward showed what happens when microbrands or independent thinking reaches scale. Now all of a sudden it's direct to consumer, detailed and explicit finishing, and check this out, broad appeal. This wasn't about being simply nice anymore. These guys said loud and clear to mainstream watch brands, see if you can keep up. Christopher Ward would not settle. They knew early on to be different, we have to recognize it's about great watches. But they knew it was equally about access. They had a goal to make it a normal routine for everyday buyers to engage with independent brands. It didn't just change how watches were made, they tweaked and changed how they were sold. Christopher Ward doesn't follow anyone else. They make the rules for others to follow, and that philosophy has served them well. Okay, that's 5 incredibly important watches that we talked about today, but we're not done. There's one honorable mention that I have to tell you. This is Kuoe Kyota, and they reminded people that place still matters, that geography, craft, and physical presence can add legitimacy. Kuoe didn't rewrite the rules for the entire industry, but it expanded what authenticity could mean. So if you look at these 5 watches and the honorable mention, you can see how watch collecting has evolved. Trust, taste, execution, identity, and scale. Microbrands didn't just get better, they grew up. And these watches are the reason the watch world looks like it does today. And that'll do us for today. We'll put links to these 6 watches in the description just in case you want to go there, check them out, and see if it's something you'd be interested in. Hey, you made it to the end of another video. Thank you for doing that. We appreciate you watching. If you enjoyed what you saw today, please take the time to like this video and subscribe to the channel. It'll only take you a second, but it really does help. All right, it's time to wrap it up, so we will close the show. My name is Jason with mydudewatch. We'll do it all again next time, but wait, don't forget, dudes can't be late.